Marcel Wolfe, and today we're going to be doing energy medicine. It's the Doc of Detox show. Okay. Today's topic is called flow of energy. Okay. Did you ever think about that? What the flow of energy really means? The flow of energy can be emotional, it could be physical. Okay. But before we start, I would like to let everyone know that if you can't watch our shows, you can go to docofdetoxshow.com or to our Doc of Detox YouTube channel. Okay. On the YouTube channel, you can change the actual words into any language you want. So if you know somebody in a different country that wants to watch our show, they can change it into their language and they can make it as slow or as fast as they want for the translation. Okay. And just understand something, everyone, that this show is your show. So if you have any questions that you want to ask during this show today, energy medicine, and it's the flow of energy, then you can call us at 888-570-9445. All right? Now, Doc Talk is Doc Talk show. We have a few different shows. You can always go to Doc of Detox show and find out what shows you like. You can look at old shows that have played that somebody's told you about, or if you want to go back and rewatch. All right. On February the 20th, we're going to have our New World Practitioner training, and then on March 6th, we'll have a New World Practitioner training again. And if you want, take a look at the other shows that are coming up at the docofdetoxshow.com. All right. On February the 28th, what really goes into your pet food with Dr. Marlene Siegel. And let's get started. How you doing, Dr. Marcel Wolfe?
I'm doing great.
Okay. So today's show is called The Flow of Energy. So why don't you kick it off and tell our audience what it's all about?
Okay, so there are many things that can actually inhibit the flow of energy, even words. But I'm actually going to start out with something you might find of interest. In 2018, the most popular words were toxic, justice, and misinformation. That's sort of telling in itself. And I actually look at words as actually being a blockage, and the blockage is called misinformation. So we base our decisions, whether it's on health or anything else that's important in our lives, based on the information we have at the time. And so our parents, of course, they did the best they could, and most parents today are trying to do the best they can based on the information they have. But when that information is being held back, when you're literally outright being lied to, and you're basing these important decisions, it can be really a huge blockage in terms of you having your best life or your best experience as being a human being. So we can talk about other types of blockages, of course, scar tissue, and actually even emotions, which is, your topic. And so we can start there. We also have interesting things happening as well. We've got finally the tide is turning in our favor. This is an important step in the awareness and consciousness of energy medicine. So we've got the Canadian Cancer Society actually recognizing the flow of energy in the body. And when that flow of energy is imbalanced, you have no physical, mental, emotional, or even spiritual problems. So this is something that I think every Canadian should see. They've paid for it. And they should realize that even somebody like the Canadian Cancer Society is getting up to speed. Basically, what's happening now is that quantum physics is proving what we've known for over 5,000 years. The ancients understood the flow of energy in the body. And so it's critical. If 75% of the energy we get from our environment is through our feet, and the other 25 is through the skull, it's not just what you eat, not just what you drink. A great part of it is actually from these other sources. So now we've got the Canadian Cancer Society recognizing therapeutic touch, healing, magnetic, and even Reiki and other forms of energy, like I said, that have been used for over 5,000 years.
Well, let's take a look if you can. Let's go back to what you were talking about. So you said one word was toxic, the other one was truth, and the other one was misinformation.
Yeah,
Well,
toxic. Actually, Oxford, the word of the year was toxic. For the Merriam-Webster picked justice, and the dictionary.com picked misinformation.
okay. So let's look at toxic. So the reason why the word toxic came up is because people are toxic emotionally and they're toxic also physically. But do you know what I believe why they're toxic emotionally and they're toxic physically is because they didn't realize that they have to protect themselves against the systems that actually said they were going to protect them. And that's the reality. So we are getting sucker punched, right? So everybody out there, you need to understand something. You need to protect yourself and you need to protect your family. That's why we've gotten so toxic. Corporations have basically taken over the media and they've taken over the government and they've taken over our healthcare.
Hey, Darrell,
So
that's a great lead in. I've got something that I think everybody should have a look at, and hopefully you guys can put it on your website so that they can have access to it. It's an article that's actually appearing in this month's Vitality magazine, which is free. It's called The Vital Light of Nikola Tesla, Healing Power of Ultraviolet Rays. This is an excellent article done by a good friend of mine, Bob Conley, who's actually for the last 10 years, and it's going to be finally released in April at the Total Health Show. That's April, I think, 12th, 13th, and 14th, which you're going to be here, of course, for that. And so he's going to be releasing his documentary at that time. He wrote this article that, like I said, I think everybody should definitely take the time to read it. And since you were mentioning about corporations, here's a perfect example. This is this is conspiracy. Forget that. It's a matter of history. It's a matter of fact. And as he says here, the cosmetic and pharma companies then teamed up to warn the public potential damage from the sun, artificial UV exposure, such as tanning salons. They spread information far and wide on a number of points. There's actually 6 points. The only way to spend your summers safely is in the sun using suntan lotion. The second point, only dermatologists should be allowed to use UVB and UVC light. Third point, ban the use of Tesla's violet ray as a medical device. 4, blame respiratory diseases on ozone contaminated and smog. And fifth, reinforce the fact that UV light damages DNA and fail to mention that in this process, it also treats disease. And the sixth and last point was, even in the summer, the UVB rays mostly reach the Earth between 11 and 2 on a clear day. And this is precisely the time that they told us to avoid because it was the most harmful, when in actual fact, it's actually the most beneficial. So here's a perfect example of misinformation. So people are slathering themselves with all kinds of suntan lotion. It's just business, folks. It's just money. And I mean, I tell people, look, if you want sunscreen, then use nature's sunscreen. Consume a lot of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll has the ability to reabsorb radiation and neutralize it. They actually gave it to the kids in Chernobyl, and within 2 weeks, such green products such as chlorophyll, heavy product called Craxel chlorella and spirulina, and within 2 weeks, the radiation levels dropped by 50%. So we call chlorophyll nature's sunscreen agent. And other than that, wear a shirt, wear a hat. It's whether, as I've said before, whether it's a cell phone or the sun, we just need to use it mindfully. But we can't do that if we're given what we call misinformation.
and
And that yeah.
Marcel, I just want to say this that fulvic, our fulvic acid concentrate will pull radiation out even faster than the chlorella. So
Right.
it absorbs 3 times its weight. It'll go in and pull radiation out, GMOs, chemicals out, and all of this can be shown on PubMed. And PubMed is one of the most informative, and it's correct information and the science about products. And we'll have a lot of our science from PubMed on our website comes from there, so that we can validate our products properly.
Yeah. So one other interesting thing they go to say is the rapid spread of misinformation poses new challenges for navigating life in 2018. So it's really, people really need to be skeptical today. But of course, in the face of facts, hard scientific fact, they also need to have an open mind.
Well, they have to have a mind that's capable of changing. That's really the big thing. I mean, they say that 2% of the population think, 3% of the population think they think, and the other 95% would rather die than think. And that's what's happening today. And the rather die than think, it's not a conscious thought, but it is a subconscious one, because the subconscious beliefs are based on whatever you hear the most. It's the truth. I mean, people, when they take a look at health products, they will research the heck out of them. And then when it comes to a drug, they'll hardly ever do any research on them. They'll just take it. So everybody, you need to understand something. You need to protect yourself from yourself. Unless, your prominent thoughts are based on nature, unless your prominent thoughts are based on self-loving thoughts, then you're a danger to yourself. And that's what you call the flow of energy. And most people don't have the flow of energy, because to have the flow of energy, you need high vibrational thoughts. And those thoughts are based on loving, gentle baby steps that you do each and every day, and that you need to keep close observation on yourself to see what you are doing to yourself. Because guess what? Most people aren't a danger to society, but they're definitely a danger to themselves.
Yeah. So the saying is, where the mind goes, energy flows, blood, flesh, and bone follow. So Einstein, along with a lot of other, great people in the past, tried to redirect us and point us in the right direction. And, one of the quotes from Einstein is, what is it now? Change the energy, change the manifestation of the mass. So, thinking in the past, that we had to look at the genes, or we had to change the chemistry, that's completely wrong. What we need to do is actually approach it from a frequency energy aspect, and understand that we are actually frequency beings first and foremost. Secondary is chemistry. They've actually shown, for instance, in research studies, that energy information is 100 times more efficient at controlling biology than chemical signals, which means it's actually 10,000% more effective.
Which means that it's actually your thoughts, which means it's actually images first, because we see in pictures. So the image you have for yourself and the image you have for the world is going to have a direct correlation to the health you have today.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying it 30 years ago, Darrell, that be careful about what you think, because your cells are listening, and you'll fulfill your own prophecy. So
yeah, but even more so today, we should be thinking about this. 99 point and then 999999999 of us is empty space, and that is the energy part. So remember something. You're 99.999% empty space, but that is energy. And the way you image, the images you have for yourself, is going to create the frequency and the vibration in all that empty space. So that empty space and the invisible part of you is the most important part of you, just like everything else. You can't see love, but you can definitely feel it. You can't see God, but you can see it everywhere. God is everything. And you can't see the most valuable part of you, but you better recognize it, because if you're not willing to feed the spirit, then the flesh will die.
Yeah. So if we were to actually magnify this hand 1,000,000 times, you'd end up with basically a spinning molecule of energy, and that's it.
And where
So,
where no particles are actually touching.
That's right.
They don't even touch. You actually think that you're the physical, complete, solid human being, and these 7 billion particles, they're vibrating and they're not even touching. But that's absolutely everything on the planet works the same way.
Yes.
Everything
And
you
so
see. So
getting back to, again, information, I like the quote from Mark Twain. It actually has people think a little deeper. It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that ain't so. And a lot of what we have been told ain't so. Whether it's being out in the sun between 11 and 2, being the most harmful, actually being the most beneficial. The information about all salt is bad for you. Of course, we know that real salt has over 80 minerals and trace minerals. And according to Dr. David Brownstein, he wrote the book, Salt Your Way to Health, which I think that everyone should be forced to read because it's such a basic in life. And he's saying basically that you need, what is it, half to a full teaspoon a day, so yeah, we need information, but it has to be, the right information. And what I tell people is a guide, because I know it can be confusing. One day you're told coffee is good for you, next day you're told it's bad. Wine's good, wine's bad. I just say to folks, look, always go to nature as your guide. And, for instance, I'll give you an example, pH 11, pH 12 water. Do you see it in nature? No. Okay, well, that might be a clue for you. So use nature as your guide, as your way of trying to sort out, the truth. That'll help you.
Yeah, and this is called the flow of energy. So, you're going to have to let go what you no longer need, or which actually is suiting you anymore. If you're not willing to let things go and bring in the new, then you're never going to expand the right way. And the only way that we can truly expand is consciously. So, and everybody out there, and you're going to find out if you're going with the flow or you're not going with the flow. I mean, energy flow. Because guess what? You're going to find people that are overweight, and most people are overweight now, but they're not overweight. They're overinflamed. It's inflammation. We're an inflammation nation. The more inflammation you have, the more fat cells you have to build to store the toxins. And the more inflammation you have, the more water you need to retain. Because, if there was a forest fire, we take water to it. Well, you've got a fire going on inside of you. And if you don't learn how to get the energy flow going by how to tap into nature, because understand something. And you know what? You got to get this. Okay? Man is not your friend. They're a frenemy. Okay? And most of the time they're an enemy, because mankind is not kind. Mankind, as far as when it comes to corporations, okay, they are not there to protect you. They're there for their bottom line. Just take a look at where things vibrate. Take a look at how much man has touched them. You know what? You want to buy your food directly from the farmer, and you want to get your water directly from nature. Right, Marcel?
Yeah, and speaking of water, Darrell, I don't know if you have available on your website, but the that short little clip where they show how much light using the gas discharge visualization unit. They show how much water light is in just tap water, in well water, and then the natural action water. And yeah, so what is the best water? Is the water with the most light. What's the best apple? As we said before, the one with the most light. What's the best human female egg? The one with the most light. So they're now using light as an integrity test, not only for food, but also for something as complex as a female's egg for fertilization.
So otherwise, lighten up, don't tighten up. And understand something. Look for people that make you feel lighter. Look for people that prop you up, boost you up, let you know how beautiful life is. Okay?
Yes, because there are what we call energy suckers. So we've seen, actually, we're using what we call full body Kirlian field photography. You'll have one person standing beside a negative person. You can actually see that negative person actually pulling energy out of that positive person beside them.
Just
So
like a
there literally
battery.
are energy suckers.
Just like a battery.
Yeah.
And you will be drained. Did you ever notice when somebody calls you, could be a family member, a friend, and you know what? It's like, oh my God, I just don't want to talk to them right now. And if that continues, then you know that they're vampires, and they're actually stealing your energy. And guess what? It's your right to not have to talk to them. And it's also your right to let them know that that's what's happening in this relationship. And you feel drained from them, and you don't want to. You want to carry on this relationship with them because you love them. but you can't keep doing it, because if you are not at ease with it, then it will create a disease within you.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, it was Charlie Chaplin. Um, in his 70th birthday, I tell people don't wait till you're 70 to do this. Pull a Charlie Chaplin today. He decided to get rid of those things that pull him away and draw him away from his own self. And he said, food, people, situations, so we say, don't wait till your 70th birthday, start looking at things, everything in your life in terms of energy. Is it giving you energy or is it taking energy? And there's no such thing as sitting on the fence. A good example is we'll take a bran muffin. We'll say, okay, well, it's not really good for me, but it's not really healthy either. Well, because it takes so much energy for you to process it, you're working at a deficit. So we have to, start looking at everything in terms of, you know, what am I getting in this relationship?
Yeah. You know, it has to be empowering. And, even a neutral relationship is not a good one, because, people should make you feel great. They should be shining their light on you. You shine your light on them. And that's what relationships are about. You're sharing each other's light. You're not trying to fill somebody up with love. You're sharing the light that, because of the love you have for your body, yourself, and it generates this light, which some people call aura, some people call it the field, some people call it an energy field, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what belief you are. It's a scientific fact. We all have it. And did you ever have where somebody was standing behind you and they moved a little bit closer and you could actually feel them in your space? Hey, man, you're in my space. You could feel if it felt good that they were in your space, or that it didn't feel good that they were in your space. You could feel them touching you without physically touching you.
Hmm. So now the good thing is with quantum physics, we can actually prove it scientifically. So when they said 30 years ago that everything is connected, it sounded like a nice fuzzy thing, and it's just like, well, yeah, it sounds good, but I don't really see it. Now with quantum physics, we're actually able to see the real connections. So again, you have to look at every relationship and judge it according to the energy. They say, for instance, pets, it's unconditional love. Well, guess what? If you don't continue to feed that cat or that dog, you know, the number one law in nature, choose life above all other things, it's going to leave you. Okay. As much as they love you, there are still things you have to do to maintain relationships, and including, this body, which we call the earth suit. It's your responsibility, not your mom's, not your dad's, not your doctors or whatever. It's your responsibility to find out how this body works, and if you truly want the optimal life, you can have it. And it's all about, again, flow of energy and thinking of everything in terms of energy.
Yeah, it's the bottom line is always the same. The body heals itself. Nobody's going to heal you, and products aren't going to heal you either. Yeah, do we need to eat right? Yes. Do we need to get nutrition? Yes. Do we need to get a good water, like structured water? Yes, we do. Do we need to get enough light? Yes, we do. And when we bring in these raw materials, the body heals itself. There's
And
no practitioner that actually does healing. A practitioner can help to clear you of some bad energy. A practitioner can help to guide you and build a protocol for you. But at the end of the day, only you can master your mind, and that's where it all begins, right there.
And the good news is, like I said, we now have measurable technology. Whether it's the light that's rendered, am I getting too much blue light? Am I getting too much flicker? All of these things now are becoming more accessible to people, which is great. You don't have to actually wait, for, your government or whatever to tell you that, this harmful cigarette or this drug is no longer good for you. You can figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, because you're going to know that. They say some people say I'm intuitive, but intuition is something that you'll recognize when you start recognizing yourself. as a life force, and when you start really caring for yourself, investing into yourself, you know, we have actually been made to feel guilty about spending money on ourselves, spending time with ourselves. We're always trying to prove to everyone that we're worthy. Oh my gosh. You know what? You're beyond worthy. You're beyond words that could measure. You are an amazing,
Hmm.
beautiful, spirited being. And if you don't care for yourself, understand something. The only true health care is self care. All right? And yes, love is powerful, but unless you are practicing self love, you know, you can't keep on expecting your family to keep putting logs into the fire, okay, to keep the light going. You've got to do it for yourself. And that's all about the flow of energy. Are you going to dishonoring beliefs and honor yourself? Or are you going to honor these dishonoring beliefs and be like the majority, 8 out of 10 people, with an autoimmune disease? It comes down to flow.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting how things are changing. You know, we've now got electrical cars that have basically 5 to 6 moving parts, and where we had the combustion cars that had literally over 2,000 moving parts. It's really, you know, a technology that is simplifying life, and you know, we don't have all this. Basically, I look at the combustion car as being crude, rude, and you know, gross, because it's just costing too much, not only in terms of our health, in terms of pollution, but also in terms of you know, the amount of time, the amount of energy, and all the waste. You know, so things are improving in different areas of life, but don't wait for it to happen.
Yeah, but
It's up to you,
Marcel,
you
but
know,
let's
to
let's hold on a second. It's not up to them. That's not true. We're not going to lay some guilt trip on people. First, understand something. You don't get to make all these choices. I mean, we have combustion cars because there's still petroleum in the ground, and there's people that can control us as long as that's the main energy source. And for a lot of people, it's too expensive to go buy an electric car and an energy efficient car. So, you know, most of this is a corporate problem. It's a corporate toxic problem. So we don't want people to think that it's their fault. They've got to drive a car.
yeah. But what I was going to say is, it's up to you to make better choices, you know,
Well,
so whatever they are, to actually, you know, not only improve, you know, your situation, but hopefully a global situation.
yeah,
And
but
it's our actually purchases more so than our voting that actually changes things. So, you know, you take a look, for example, at Costco. Costco's carrying all kinds of organic food now, you know, and it's just, you know, the way things are heading. And the more the people support that, then the more they're going to see.
right, but the change can only happen on a personal level, and that's it. So if each person were to say, I am going to truly love, respect, protect this body, and I'm going to buy the highest quality of food from now on, that person is doing a better change on the planet and the only change that they can, because we are being ransomed by corporate America and by our own government. So I'm not trying to poo-poo on what you just said, but I want everybody out there to know that when they start telling us that, you know, we need to recycle. Well, yeah, we want to recycle, but the thing is the pollution on the planet is not done by human beings. The pollution on the planet is being done by corporations. So, you know, we can try to fight the corporations, but the best thing, like Marcel said, is do it in your buying power. What are you bringing into the home that honors you? If it totally honors you, then guess what? It's going to dishonor the corporation and honor the planet and honor our children that are going to be taking over this planet.
Yeah, no question. We have been deceived, denied, and delayed our human potential. And I feel that the probably the biggest threat to our success has been this denial of our potential.
Yeah. And you know what? We have been denied, and I will agree with that. But the thing is that where denial really comes is the denial we do to ourselves. I want to ask you right now, how many times a day do you deny yourself the pleasures of things that would make you happier, healthier? Okay? So it's knowing when to say no and knowing when to say yes. And most of us have that turned around.
Hmm. Yeah.
So the deal is that, you've got to start from scratch. And what is that? To get the flow of the energy. Where should you have it first? In your mind. But guess what? It's not that easy to change your mind. That's why I put the Braveheart course together, because you'd have to really do the 12 Braveheart steps for 9 months, even though they're loving and they're gentle. But you've got to really want to love yourself to change your mind, because to change your reality, you got to change parts of your personality, because there's beliefs inside your mind that are causing this dysfunction in your life, this toxicity on an emotional and physical level. So what can you do right off the bat is you can clean up your house. You can go
Right.
through your cupboards. You can go through your fridge. You can go through the bathroom. Hey, Marcel? And you can start making even the vibration of your house much better by having the right lighting. Why don't you talk about that, Marcel? About flow of energy in the house.
Yeah. So things are changing. We have now light technology that is coated with titanium dioxide that releases superoxygen hydroxyl ions. Has been shown to actually um, neutralize bacteria, viruses, mold, parasites, fungus, mildew, N5H1, MRSA. So right now there's 2 hospitals in the US that are studying this. So things are moving in the right direction. So in terms of light, whether it's the water or the air or the light, those technologies which best mimic nature are the ones that you want to, of course, have for yourselves. So whether it's an air purifier or water purifier or simple indoor lighting technology, those that best mimic the sun. Now we have different meters. I have a meter that actually measures the flicker. I have another one that actually measures the color rendering. It tells me exactly how much blue light, etc., is in that particular light. So with these technologies, we can actually find out for ourselves what is healthy, what's unhealthy.
Absolutely.
And yep,
And when we're talking about lights, the incandescent lights, the fluorescent lights, the blue light off a computer, the blue light off of the light here, right in the studio here. That's why just 20 minutes into this show, I put my Tesla glasses on, because I don't want to block blue light. I want to turn that light around and make it into higher vibrational healing rays, which Tesla light glasses do. You can see that on our website. And then Marcel was talking about this. This is called Pure Light. If you go on our website, you can go to the Pure Light site and you can buy all different types of bulbs for your home that actually will give you that pure light and will actually, like Marcel said, there's data, science on this, that it will actually get rid of viruses. It'll get rid of chemicals. It'll get rid of bacteria. It'll get rid of the things in your home, but also create the light that helps to heal. Because it's the blue light and the lights that aren't good for us that are in everybody's home that are tearing our eyes apart. Glaucoma, cataracts, okay, myopia, detached retina, acute macular degeneration, all of this. Oh, so I just got to tell you this. So there's a client that called up, and he says, "Listen, my wife now when she watches the TV, she was wearing her glasses. Now when she watches the TV, she can't watch the TV. It gives her eye strain. But when she takes the glasses off, she no longer has the eye strain. And she was using our fulvic eye drops and the Tesla glasses. Guess what? She doesn't need her glasses. Did you get that? Because she's healing her eyes. So what was happening is now when she wears the glasses, they're too strong and they're giving her headaches. So understand, we can reverse things. The human body can reverse things. Even people who say they have to go to surgery because they're bone on bone. I've seen people, and we have case histories of people that have turned their diet around, turned their life around, and the surgery was canceled. So understand that You know, there's so much that we can do to help ourselves.
Yeah, so talking about the blue light, we have that report from the Nature's Neuroscience, Harvard Health Publications, and they were talking about how the blue light has been linked now to depression, sleep disturbance, potential cataracts, learning difficulties, increased risk of obesity, raises blood glucose, causes insulin resistance, destroys DHA in the cell membranes, next day decreased memory function, and also increased risk of breast and prostate cancer.
And
So,
and guess what?
the companies use this blue light because basically at 1 or 2 in the morning, you feel like it's high noon, so they use the technology, of course, to increase their profit margin. They want to keep you on this technology as long as possible. And so this is one of the ways that they've been doing it. But you'll also notice that if you get a new cell phone, they now have a way to actually change that screen so that it's not as harmful. Again, if people continue to purchase, those things that are going to make them healthier, then companies will have to, and they'll be forced to move in the direction of providing products that are healthier for us.
Yeah, that's why the cereals are changing. That's why things are changing because people are demanding it. You know, it's not like they just discovered it yesterday. It's all about the fat bottom line. So everybody needs to really get that. You cannot wait for the world to change for you. You need to change your world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the good news is that we do have more choices than what we had, and it's really you know up to us to educate ourselves so that we can be informed about these new technologies and use them in a mindful way.
And understand something, everybody, whether you like this or not. Breast cancer and prostate cancer are rising faster than any other disease. Okay.
Mm,
And the other thing is I'm not out to target anything, but when the reason why you're running for the answer, jumping for the answer, cutting your hair for the answer for cancer, searching for the answer, and giving money continually for it is because they haven't got an answer. Okay, because the answer lies in you. The answer lies in you taking back your power and then not giving it away. And that power will be based on your mind. Okay, it'll be based on what you imagine about yourself. Is cancer a death sentence, or is cancer something that the body created, and the same body that create the same energy that created your body will be the same energy that can turn around cancer or any other illness. And people go, oh my gosh, she's not allowed to say that. Well, I can. I really truly believe that the God that created us, okay, gave us the power to reverse any illness or disease that we come into if we believe that. And yes, we come down here with choice. Now, do you choose to be the hero of your story, or you don't choose to be the hero? You choose to be the victim. But understand, you're only choosing to be the victim because you've been advertised that you are a victim, that you're lesser than you are, but you're not. So it's called flow of energy, and that block of the flow of energy is dysfunctional beliefs that constipate you on a spiritual and physical level.
so Darrell, I don't know if you have available on your website, I'm sure you probably do, the cross section of human DNA.
Uh,
That
yes, we do.
Okay, great. That's a good place to start because so we're talking about beyond blood, beyond the human cell, beyond DNA itself. This is basically, it's like a fiber optic cable. You're taking a strand of the human DNA and you're cutting it. And what it reveals is an image of 4 billion epigenetic light switches in one single strand of human DNA. So at our microscopic essence, so beyond blood, beyond the cell, beyond the DNA itself, we are light beings. And it's incredible. You have to see it and you have to know how special this human body is down at the molecular level.
But everything is about light. We have what's called a bioptron, and within a few minutes, you can saturate every cell in your body with light. We have another lighting system that in 4 minutes, you can get all the true vitamin D your body needs. And understand something, anybody that lives north, okay, not like in Mexico or in the deep south of the United States, even in the United States in the wintertime, you're not getting the D that you want. And, up here, we can't even get the D we want until it's like from September till May. The sun is too far. Even if we go out, we're not absorbing all the D that we want and that we need. And people don't understand that the vitamin D, which is part of that whole light spectrum, it is an immune modulator, okay? It's not even a vitamin, and it's a hormone regulator. So there will be ways, the more that we move away from nature, we're going to have to buy devices to protect us from what we're living in. If we're living in a technological world where corporations aren't taking responsibility to create the right light coming off the computers, the phones, the TVs, the lights in your house, if they're not going to create the right frequencies to come off of cell phones, which they could have. Marcel, could they or not? They could have, couldn't they? All of this
Yeah.
could be done at a little bit more expense that everybody would have paid. But then guess what? We wouldn't be falling apart. We wouldn't have inflammation. And if we didn't have inflammation, we wouldn't have obesity, and we wouldn't have all these autoimmune diseases.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just going to list off for you something you'll find interesting. Increases vitamin D to ideal levels, reboots the important daily circadian rhythm necessary for hormone function, including melatonin, may protect against cancer, can protect against heart disease, for daily happiness levels, serotonin, dopamine, vitamin D, is non-tropic and improves the brain function, protects against brain disorders. What do we got here? Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and schizophrenia. Encourages dental health, may reduce diabetes, increases wakefulness, increases sex hormones, natural painkiller, is good for eyes, treats arthritis, protects against autoimmunity, and also fights acne. And it's free. It's called the sun. Again, whether it's a sun or a cell phone, we just need to use it mindfully. But just that list in itself, 16 different items, and it's actually free. You just got to use it properly, folks.
Yeah, it's like everything else. That's all. It's just respecting yourself as well. You know, and here's the deal: learn or burn, and it's got to do with taking the time to investigate. Right? You need to investigate what we ask you to do, or because we're not telling you to do it, or what we suggest that we're doing already. Understand something. Everything that I talk about, I'm doing for myself. I'm not telling you to do it. You need to investigate it. Okay? No matter how good a person's intentions are, what if they had the wrong information? Wow. Like there's not a lot of health professionals out there like that. There's a lot of health professionals that have the wrong information. And I only want to say this because, and I'm not saying I don't have the wrong information too. That's where you have to do your investigation. But if health professionals had the right information, then why aren't we healthy already? If we actually want to call all these people health professionals, then why aren't you healthy? And why are you going and doing the same thing over and over again, asking for a different outcome? Because you're not emotionally healthy. I'm talking about that the beliefs you have are not emotionally healthy.
Your daily routine matters. Live daily as if your life depended upon your choices.
Because it does.
When you live daily with a health routine that is not working, then why keep doing it? You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The routine of how we live daily throughout life will greatly determine how we live at the end of life. And that's a situation that's happening right now. Most people spend the biggest portion of their money on health in the last couple of weeks because they're in such pain and, they're desperate.
In the last couple of weeks of their life, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And most people today, the last 10 to 12 years are spent in misery. And the average child that's just entering teenage years right now is said to have a 10 to 12 year shorter lifespan than his parents if we continue on this direction that we're going on. And remember something, all of these are just statistics. And to become a statistic, you'd have to hang around and do what the majority does. And I just say to you, whatever the majority's doing right now is a danger to your life. Did you get that? Whatever the majority's doing right now is a danger to your life. So break away from the herd, okay? And don't hurt yourself anymore, because that's what people are doing. You know, we actually think that going from from a limp to the cane to the walker, okay, to the wheelchair or the electric scooter is just a natural course of life. People actually believe that everybody in the family can have an autoimmune disease, which is a life-threatening disease, and it's just normal today. Well, 8 out of 10 people do. And nobody even thinks twice about it. Go back 100 years, and everybody would be just freaking out seeing all these diseases.
Yes, I forget how many hundreds of, there's just thousands and thousands of disease. And as one person said, no, there's only really one. Your most important asset in life is the quality of life, whether you're 4 or 84. Start investing now, and you're not going to do it all at once. Sometimes people come to this house and they think, wow, you had to spend a lot of money, but we've been doing it over decades. Darrell, we started with the distiller, right, in terms of water purification, and we went on to all kinds of different things. So
we had to go to
we're continually learning ourselves. I mean, old things are being reinforced, whether it's fasting or apple cider vinegar or, fasting itself is like almost a cure for everything. But of course, it's like somebody said, any fool can fast. Thing is that you have to know how to do it properly, how to wean yourself in and how to wean yourself out.
And if I can say something here, we're going to be doing a 4-part special on fasting. And it'll be both fasting and stem cells, fasting and weight loss, fasting and inflammation. What?
Autophagy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be taking a good look at that. And I'm also, within the next 6 weeks, we're going to be doing what's called our blue light 5G toxicity. And that's going to be a 2-part actual show that we're going to do, and we'll be opening up for questions. And when you hear the information we're going to be giving you, it'll blow your mind. So
what are they calling 5G? The harvest?
Yeah, the harvest. It's because 5G
all disease is going to ramp up to higher levels than it's ever had before.
Anybody that's old or sick is on the hit list. And 5G is, they're saying, anywhere from 100 to 180 G, depending on how dense the population is. So the larger the city, okay, the more dense the population, the harder they're going to hit with 5G. There is going to be 20,000 satellites shooting 5G, and they're going to be aiming them at mainly the dense population, big cities, because that's where they harvest the money the most, right? So that's where the 5G is. So if you're not living out in the country, okay, or at least where there's less population, you're going to be blasted. And then you've got to deal with your blue light. And remember, they're also going to be putting a 5G box antenna every 4 to 5 houses. So this is why it's not 5G, people. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to protect yourself. Option A is move away. Option B, we're going to show you how to wear protection. Okay.
Yeah, so in nature, we've been exposed to, frequencies of 0.1 to 300 hertz, but
That's
the problem
hertz.
is that, and I'll ask people, I say, well, what do you think Wi-Fi is? If the heart likes 8 cycles per second, if the earth is around 8 cycles per second, if when you pray, and not having to believe in any particular religion, but as long as you believe in a higher power, you create 8 cycles per second. What do you think Wi-Fi is? And they'll say, oh, I know, 50, 100 hertz, 100 cycles per second. It's like, no, every G stands for billions of cycles per second. So we had 2.5, went to 3, to 4, and now it's going to 5. And I don't know, Darrell, if you've seen that piece from the Secretary General confesses ignorance on knowing about anything about 5G dangers, and how the one of the staff members at the the UN was, saying, hey, we need to look at this. We're not happy as being staff members at the United Nations and being faced with having to work in a 5G atmosphere.
I'm going to
So,
actually play that video, Marcel, where the UN is actually in debate over that. And I'm going to be playing that video during the Blue Light 5G documentary series that I'm doing.
yeah, no, it's great, because then people can see that this is not just a bunch of health people talking about it, but actual employees at the United Nations who are now getting upset and realizing that people are getting sicker. So,
Understand something. Corporations never will have a heart. They'll never have a beating heart. They definitely have no emotions. Okay. They want you to buy into their corporate spiel, but understand something. Mother Nature. Okay. Believe in Mother Nature. Have faith in a higher power. And know that if you do these two things, you will have the power to heal. And that's the bottom line. So, listen, a technology or a medical breakthrough is not a health breakthrough. Okay? It's not. Sometimes it can be helpful, right, Marcel?
yeah, but again, it's you have to test it out, and you have to look at all the different aspects, to make sure that the technology is actually going to serve you
Think
as
about
opposed to
this.
harm you.
Yeah. Like there is technology that helps. Like we have on our website, which is a vitamin D light. I have one in my clinic. I have one in my house. And the thing is this, that if you have somebody at home that's elderly or someone that doesn't go out, they're not getting their vitamin D. You have no idea the harm that is. So, you know what? I don't get D every day if it's cloudy up here, especially in the wintertime. The sun's too far away. Okay? So, you know what? For $1,300, you can get a light that will actually give you all the vitamin D you need every day. And that doesn't mean don't go outside in the sun. It means still go out there. But the thing is that we should be able to harness nature, okay? Not let technology harm us. And we don't have to have that. Just buyer beware. Buyer beware and understand what's behind it, what is the application of it, and find out what the side effects are.
Yeah, Darrell, I hopefully you can make it available for people. I would have that article that Bob Conley wrote, because once they've read that, then they'll have a firm grasp at what the true story is with regards to UVB light.
I'll do it. And we'll put that UVB light up with our vitamin D light so that they can just take a look at that. And then they'll understand it more.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you'd like to tell anyone? Anything you'd like to leave them with?
You got to start somewhere, right? And as I say, it all starts here first, and decide from this point forward, I'm going to do, what I can at this time to move in the right direction. It can be just simple steps. And, so whether it's getting a healthier light, whether it's getting a pair of Tesla glasses, whether it's doing more meditation, whether it's doing more walking, we are literally, it's an actual term, nature deficient. So we need to get back to nature. And then we also need to, because we're living in extreme times, we need to use technology as well, to put in place what generations were getting naturally. Now we have to actually pay for it, sometimes even through the nose. Things that were free, for my grandparents. Back when they were born in the early 1900s, 1902, 1903, air was pure, the water was pure, the food was pure. There was no such thing as electromagnetic energy fields. Okay. Now to get what they had for free, because they trusted science, chemistry, right? Everything is better with chemistry. Well, now we find out that's not so true. Putting, fish genes in tomatoes or whatever, it doesn't work out. So yeah, just be aware, keep an open mind, and do your own research. And like I said, if you're certain of the information, one side says this, the other side says that. Always again look to nature as your guide, and it'll set you right.
Yeah. And the other couple things is this: turn your Wi-Fi off at night. Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing is go on your cell phone and see how many different Wi-Fis you pick up in the neighborhood. If you live in a condo building and there's hundreds of apartments, then guess what? You can turn yours off in there, but you're getting fried still. Understand something. The more Wi-Fi that show up on your cell phone, the more you're getting fried. And I'll tell you, these people don't even know to turn theirs off at night, okay? Because nobody's going to tell them that, because that's all part of the harvest. And if you've got big cell towers on your apartment building, move. If you've got big hydro towers across the street or within a block or even a few blocks away, move. If you're grinding your teeth out, finding that you've got all these illnesses and you don't know why and headaches, move.
Darrell, I took that course, became a building biologist. There are things that you can do, but it can be, expensive. There's black carbon paint. There's special fabric that you can use. We've actually got it. It looks like a sheer curtain in our living room window, and you can put the meter, in front of it, and it'll scream behind it, and it's absolutely quiet. So there are things you can do, but it can get expensive. It may be a solution for you instead of moving. I helped this one lady who lived on the 16th floor, and she has a beautiful condominium, 2 bedrooms, dining room, all this, 2 bathrooms, nice size unit. And she was facing having to move. So she had a choice. She could either spend what she needed to make it safe and healthy, or move. And then if she moved, what would she be facing? So she decided to enjoy the condo that she has. And we did everything. We painted the ceilings, the floors. We actually put in foil under she put in some porcelain tile, and I told her that you only have one opportunity to do this, and so we actually put in foil and blocked out frequencies from coming up through the floor.
Tell everybody what floral is.
Black carbon paint, did the actual
Marcel.
clear coating on the windows, and now her condo is completely safe. But it probably cost her, I'd say, $1,200. She had big windows, so 12,000. Excuse me, not 1,200.
Well, if she feels at peace, then that's worth it, isn't it?
Well, she didn't have to move. She loves where she lives, and and now you go in with the meters, and it's absolutely silent.
Great, beautiful. So, but at the end of the day, remember something: you are the light. You're the light for your family. You're the light for yourself, and really start looking around. Who's going to protect the family? Who's going to protect you? Take it serious here. You deserve to look after yourself. You really do. You're worth it. So anyways, we will be back in 2 weeks with another energy medicine show. But just go to docofdetoxshow.com and you'll be able to see the shows that are coming up. And then, like I said, these shows are shown on Facebook. But you can go to YouTube. They'll be housed there if you want to watch the older ones. Or go to docofdetoxshow.com. And if you want more information, just getting started, go to docofdetoxlibrary.com and check out the Perfect Day Guide and the video. And check out the Braveheart Way Guide and the video. Marcel, I want to thank you.
And thank you, Darrell.
And everybody else, I want to thank you for watching and listening. And just let us know that we do these shows for you. So if you want to let us know if you want to hear about something, or if we're not doing something, or we can help you out in any way, don't hesitate to even call me, okay? All right? Our phone number is 855-900-4544, and you can get me here at the clinic. God bless, and have a beautiful night. And remember, you are the light.
Good night for now.